Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back to the question and answer session from our very much waste of 45 minutes. The shittiest podcast we've had. And there's the.
Thought you said you're not going to have any more puns, Paul.
Enough.
No, he's punishing us.
Hey. If you missed our somewhat serious discussion on hygiene up there, hygiene in game, select that little link, go watch it, and we're taking questions from the chat who are here live. And if you want to watch us live, when I do this live at Star Citizen, theastropub. Twitch.tv/theastropub. Every Saturday, or mostly every Saturday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Come join us live for that.
Where we shoot the shit.
We shoot the shit all the time.
Yep.
There are 54 questions. I am pausing these questions. Holy balls.
That's a good idea, Paul.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Got to cut these people off.
But we don't have a poop knife, though.
Sleazy Meyer asks, I saw that the refueling apparently has fail states where you can mess up or mix or transfer and blow your rod. Are there any existing processes where you would like to see fail states, or do you think they should be mitigated by metafactors, leveling, better ships, etc.? Fail states. I think everything should have fail states.
Yeah, I've been waiting for guns to start jamming, like FPS guns.
Oh, that wear and tear gun jammings on the misfires essentially are
right
on
now.
The progress tracker.
With 317, when you sell something, it has a durability sort of like a state indicator, where like goes from 0 to 100%. I wonder if that's the sort of thing that's going to be hooked into like the probability of gun jamming in the future. Because that I'd like to do. Like remember for some reason I'm reminded of that scene from Mars Attacks. Like you had that hick gun, was it ammo-sexual cousin?
Yeah.
Who joined up the army, just because he needed to kill, and then he gets his chance, walks up, clicks fire, and then the magazine just drops out of the gun. That sort of thing. Like really shitty abused guns should fail. Especially if they're made by Drake.
Well, Kastak.
Drake doesn't make guns.
Kastak arms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think everything should have fail state. I mean, like mining is a great example. Mining has a fail state.
The rock blows up.
Yeah.
Even medical has a fail state. You do the wrong thing. You inject someone with the wrong chemicals. You get their blood alcohol goes up, or whatever their drug alcohol their drug level goes up too high, and eventually they die if you screw up. So yeah, everything should have a fail state.
When we play with JRDF, that's how we end the streams. Everybody gets a medigun and gets their drug level to like 80%. So they just do the really well done messed up walking animations. Yeah.
So
it's really well disorienting, especially if you make the mistake of going in a ship and start flying around.
It's very difficult to fly when you're intoxicated. Yeah. Yes.
Very well done.
All right. Liquid Wayne 0 asks, will HCVertigo have an upper decker leave an upper decker in strangers' toilets?
Yeah, probably if it's an option.
What's an upper decker? I never heard that term before.
God.
Do you not know?
So you know how toilets have a water tank? So when you flush, it actually the water has somewhere to come from that actually has pressure.
Oh, yeah.
So you poop in the water tank.
Oh God.
Yes. So your water is always poop.
Well, I haven't seen a kettle. I think this is the term. In Star Citizen, they're all integrated into the walls, or they come straight from the system. So.
Craig the Space Bum asks, why do other streamers not like you? Don't like you. Because I'm a terrible person and you shouldn't be watching.
Because I'm funny. I'm going to steal all their viewers.
Yes.
They feel intimidated by me. I'm going to steal all their viewers.
I don't know who he's asking for. He's just asking in general. I think he's trying to be funny, which is funny.
All right. Maybe don't give up your J job. Let the comedian be a comedian.
Yeah. All right. Del Ener asks, what's your biggest fear about Star Citizen, other than any fear that the game might not release?
Spiders. Spiders would probably do it for me.
Was that you who was like, if CIG adds spiders in the game, I'm fucking quitting?
Probably not, but
there was someone
close.
Someone who legitimately came to the cabin table was like, if they add spiders into the game, I'm fucking quitting.
I want to put it past them to add some mutant's fucking spider, because they showed off those the space crabs from like Pyro. Those things look horrific. The concept art for them.
That was the few.
Yeah.
I'd say that the balance of CIG like leadership holding steady to finishing the game they want versus the community nagging them to actually release and finish the game shifts, and CIG pushes, says the game's done, but it's not actually done.
Yeah. I'd probably say, go ahead. That's just your...
Yeah. It's just I'd rather have them go for another 5 years at least, if it means that they can take the time and finish the damn game instead of doing a Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is that there's a lot of games out there that just get pushed out because they need to. I wish I would say for me it's the level of sim to fun. If this game stops being fun, then I'll stop. That's the thing I'm worried about. I'm worried about,
as we said on the podcast we just did. Like, if we get too much management in our character, and we end up having a bunch of time having to spend juggling health, various bars like thirst, hunger, hygiene. If it just becomes too much like scum, as Darjanator brought up, like why?
Even with things like spaceships, like I know some people I know people come into my chat all the time and are like, I want a 1-to-1 real space simulator, and I'm like, I don't. Mm-hmm. This is an online video game. I want to have fun with my friends. Yes, I do want some.
I'd like
sim
some
elements.
sort of engineering gameplay.
Yeah,
sure.
Of course.
But
I don't want
going from fire to fire, but not having to go from one valve to another and optimize the flow of the plasma or whatever it is that's powering the ship.
I don't want 15. I don't want it to take 15 minutes for me to turn on my reactor. Like that's
like
not,
you don't want to be DCS in space. That was one of the big criticisms a lot of people had back in the day.
What was that game that was DCS in space that you had to go from?
No, there was. I know exactly what he's talking about. I can't remember it. They had like videos on YouTube of having to turn on the spaceship. It was literally 15 minutes just to get the spaceship powered up.
Yeah.
It was like.
Not, I mean, a startup sequence would be nice, but like, there's a difference between a startup sequence and I have to like agitate the fusion reactor.
Rogue system.
Yeah.
And the guy took ill. I think he had a stroke or something, and the publisher took over, and they're not doing anything with the game, as far as I'm aware. So it's basically stuck in
some of
hiatus.
That showed promise, other than there not being a computer interface between the player and the ship that allow you to go, computer, turn the ship on. Even if it took 20 minutes, you can go and make a coffee or something like that. But even the coffee machine would be like, you had to grind the beans by hand and then shove them into.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I think there needs to be a balance between sim and fun. And if CIG ever pushed this game to being more like DCS in space, I'd probably not be here.
Jared's very adamant that they don't. Like they are aware of that balance of making it realistic and then pushing it back to the point of fun. That is one of his things that he says a lot, and I hope they stick to it. But then again, where is that line for them versus for us?
That's the question, and I think I don't know when that happens, but when that hits, if CIG decides to do that, then I'm out. That's.
I think there's going to be a lot of pushback. Like, people don't want to spend a lot of time managing their character's health and their spaceship's health. Like, the bigger ships I can see, because you're going to be hiring NPC crew. I think ships like the 890 Jump, there's a reason why you have those 7 on the crew deck. You have those 7 pods, those 7 tabs. That's for NPC crew.
Yeah, there's actually an NPC like there's a crew deck that's below deck, that has those sort of things. So.
And so it's expected either you're going to have someone help you run the engineering of the ship, or you're going to have NPC crew to do all that stuff for you.
Exactly. And there should be fun gameplay, but the gameplay should be fun and not be slavishly addicted to reality. Because the game is based off of like basically every space IP you can imagine thrown together, which is more about fun and adventure and those sorts of things. So.
And everybody remembers the really fun...
In those games, nobody goes to the toilet.
No.
Yeah, everybody remembers the fun
like
scene where Luke
shows.
Skywalker in Star Wars was pooping on the toilet.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody remembers that 30 minutes that... Or,
the
or
only
when
thing
Han Solo was repairing the Millennium Falcon in between blowing up the Death Star and kissing Leia, the Princess Leia, right?
I mean, that happened, like when they were stuck in
Hoth. They were stuck
in
Hoth.
Yeah, but
not on Hoth. In the asteroid that had the worm in it. They
they were actually doing that. But that was held. They didn't hold on that for very long.
No,
they cut away from that pretty quickly.
Other things happened. The repair of the ship was just an excuse for them to go to that location and be outside the ship. No, the only thing that I can remember is in Firefly episode 1, Mal Reynolds, when he's introduced on the Firefly, is basically just finishing up taking a piss, and that's the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh,
and he does wash his hands. He does wash his hands.
All right, moving on. Minty Fizz asks, should CIG introduce laxatives to give medics offensive options? Yes.
They already kind of have. Medics have offensive options, but you were talking about like more status debuffs, like funny, kind of haha funny stat, instead of like I tase you, you go unconscious, stuff that
isn't there like a poop gun in Transmetropolitan?
Something like that.
Bowel Disruptor, that's the name.
Yeah, the Bowel Disruptor, remember that one.
Yes.
I would like to see more funny options, but I don't think everybody would appreciate the goofiness that would bring to Star Citizen. It's bad enough when you throw torpedo burritos at people's heads, and you have a food fight starting around the ASOP terminals, and it's like that's goofy. That's not my Star Citizen. People having fun. This is a serious game for serious men.
What about going back to like the sort of simulatory thing? When you die and someone comes up to your corpse, should your corpse have emptied its bowels, because that's what happens in real life?
Yes, 100%. That's exactly what should happen.
Like when you loot a corpse, you take off its undersuit, and in the undersuit is a poop.
Yeah, which means you have to then degrades its durability down. I
said poop, not Google.
He Googled himself.
Yeah, all right, next question comes from Pacecape. A lot of these questions are like that, y'all. Just to let you know.
I'm prepared. I knew what I was getting into, Paul.
Is there a good estimation when we can start occupying apartments in Area 18, for example? Or is that maybe not a priority right now?
I mean, you can technically occupy the apartments right now. You just don't leave.
I think he's asking
like
for
ownership, like renting and going back to
like
it.
Persistent.
Did we have persistent habs like on the roadmap?
Yeah,
it was on the progress tracker. I should say.
It's probably.
Let me go check.
It was removed.
It's probably waiting for server meshing, just because
everything's waiting for server meshing.
Because they need to spool up. Like you need to have your existence at Area 18 be tied to a specific server.
Let's see here.
That's gonna be 50 people in that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it has to do with the number of peoples, especially since Chris is
persistent habs is oh god. Okay, so persistent habs is technically finished.
Well, it's because they took it off the roadmap.
No, it's on the I checked the progress tracker. It's already passed. The thing is already passed.
Yeah, but
persistent hangers is the next thing we're waiting on, which is due on Q4 2022.
They said in a roadmap roundup that they took it off the roadmap, meaning that like they're not continuing the sprint because they stopped the sprint and they didn't finish it. They've mentioned that in the past.
Yeah.
So that team's working on other things. But I think server meshing is the issue, because when you start having more than 50 people per server, and Chris has said in the past that he wants the actual apartment to persist. So like if you're in an apartment on Orison, there's like maybe 100 apartments. Once those apartments are gone, they're gone. You can't get those apartments anymore. You have to go to another apartment complex. And so they need to have like, to figure out how many players are actually going to be going into these places, because they're going to be like physical locations. I mean, yeah, they'll be back end, but it's not like GTA where you walk into the apartment like area and you have your apartment and it's like a separate area. I think they might do that with like personal hangars, but not with like the personal habs. So yeah.
Like what's the name? What's the name of the building in Area 18 where you're? I know it's Spire Grand, and you have the Green Circle, and you have L19. What's the Area 18
Falls
one?
or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
It's not the Spire Grand.
Yeah,
Spire Grand is in New Babbage.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, like even if you have different shards, and say, okay, my hab is number 4 on floor 6, but then if you by chance team up with Iron North, no, Iron North is the commerce building,
the business building.
Anyway, but if you team up with someone who also by chance on another shard has the hab on floor hab 6 on floor 4 or whatever I said. And if you both spawn in, that would mean that you spawn in the same bed. It's like, no, they would need to make another building in Area 18 for people,
which is what they have to do,
or just make more floors.
Yeah,
or you could just have another. You just copy paste the building you already have into another area and just force people to commute to like the.
Yeah, I mean that's.
But then you're back to trains, which you said are only there for being trains, or whatever you said.
Well, the reality is if they do something like that, which they want to do, then they're going to have to build more. And I think they want to do is part of the economy, which is if you have an apartment, or if you bought like a condo in this area, and that runs out of places, and it's because it's very valuable because of something's going on, you can just you can sell it to another player. And make money off of it. Land speculation, baby. Because again, it's the same game that wants land. So, So they're going to have to up the number of players per server before they can do something like that as well. So, next question comes from Aimless, who asks, "What happens or should happen if you are hit with a hole stripping beam? Hygiene or horror?"
Well, I think it should,
it should
that's how you
atomize
get
you.
strippers in Star Citizen. I mean, okay, so one time we were coming back from summer vacation into our shop, and our shop instructor, this is back in high school, said he spent the summer playing hooker, being a hooker, and he just left that hang in the air. So apparently there's a thing called if you're doing lumber work, where you're rolling the logs with a special tool called a hook.
Yeah,
and you're just basically pushing the logs like up into like a staging area.
Hooker is also a position in rugby.
It's also a position for the military when you're working on Chinooks or cargo aircraft, because the Chinooks have like essentially a sky crane. Like they also have a cargo area, but they also have the ability to pick stuff up using a crane system. So my friend has a patch that says like the number airborne number blah 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 division hookers, sky hookers, essentially.
Well, will people who run the Argo SRVs be space hookers?
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
I would love to. I would love to have that patch on my suit in game.
Space hooker. All right, next question comes from Del Ener, who asks,
the logo will be a woman with 3 tits.
Fucking Coffee Gaming. Like, thank you, Coffee. Thank you. Like, people need to have the joke explained to them.
Del Ener asks, "Do you think Star Citizen should be playable from third person, or is that too much of a balance concern?"
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't hear the rest of the question there for a second.
Should Star Citizen be playable?
Yes. Nah. No, I don't think I think Star Citizen should be impenetrable, like a block of obsidian.
Should it be playable in third person, or is there a balance concern between first and third person? I don't think we should have third person shooter style. I think you should always have access to the third person camera, but not third person.
As a drone,
HUD.
I'd love it for it to be a drone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people have to buy a special attachment to get access to a third-person camera. It's a drone; they have to control around. It could be shot or something. That'd be a good idea.
It could be a tiny one that you just have like a slightly bigger mobi-glass, then it just pops off and hovers around you. Sure, but
why not?
It's something that you would need to do, and it would be completely useless for gaming.
Well, this is a problem that games like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Arma, DayZ, MechWarrior Online have had to deal with, where they've had like first-person and third-person modes. You get distinct advantages for popping into third-person.
Yeah.
And you get advantages for being in first person as well, like better aiming, like you can tell like if your shot's going to get blocked or something. Be able to read the terrain a little bit better from first person. But if you pop into third person, you can use your camera to look around cover. You can literally see what's behind a wall. Like if you got your enemy is on the other side of a wall and you're on you're opposite each other, you can use your third person camera to peek above the wall and see like, oh, there's a guy literally right behind me. And if you're in a game that you can shoot through walls, guess what? You just spray the wall down and get a free kill.
If you're gonna do that, it needs to be something that has detractors. But just having like a God mode version, it would be weird.
Well,
is there a game that would make you that only renders in stuff that you see as first person?
I want to say Arma does that. I want to say Arma or DayZ has that, where if your character cannot see something, it won't render it. So you could pop into third person, look around, look behind a corner, and you just see terrain.
Yeah.
You don't see anything else. You just see like, oh, there's a bunch of buildings down that way, and then you walk around the corner in first person view and you get blasted in the face because there's a guy with a shotgun waiting for you.
MechWarrior online third person weapon convergence is terrible. Okay, that's another one. Scum does that actually. Okay, it's
but
Scum that
being
does it.
in third person. The advantage of being in third person is not necessarily the ability to attack stuff. It's usually the intelligence gathering. Mm-hmm. Being able to stand at a corner and then pop into third person and see around that corner without exposing yourself is what the advantage is.
Instead of just having the third camera, but if it is the third person camera, it should be tied to something that you watch through the mobi-glass, or at least that's how it's explained.
I could imagine having like a remote drone that you give orders to that you can log into, like follow me, and you can assign coordinates around your ship for it to do if you want to control the camera. Because I know what a lot of people want the third person camera for.
Yeah,
there's a very distinct digital photography group within Star Citizen that loves to take pictures of stuff, and they use the third person camera to do that kind of stuff. And obviously CIG wants to support that portion of the community, but the gameplay side of the third person camera, the way it's used and how useful it is game breaking.
The only thing they would need to do is not have it tied to your person or your ship. Like as soon as you go into third person and you move, the camera stays stuck to.
Well, the camera you should be able to tell the camera to follow you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Which I agree. You should have a drone or something that could be noticed or heard.
Wasn't there like
something.
in Forza Horizon, I believe, has this drone mode where you can use it to take screenshots or to search for things. You can go above the trees. Yeah, you use it for barn finds and shit like that. Yeah, but yeah, it works really well, and it's basically just the third person camera disguised as something in lore. Sure.
Yeah, I can see something like that.
All right, but in Star Citizen, it has dangers of someone finding it and shooting it.
Yeah,
and then you lose it.
That's what people wanted for MechWarrior Online, but MechWarrior Online, they just added like an invulnerable drone that revealed your position if you turn it on. They have this little blinky drone. I don't know if it's still like that. QPan could maybe tell us because he's the fan of MechWarrior Online. He probably still plays it. I don't know. Do you play MechWarrior Online, Paul?
I played it a lot before. I don't know if it's still in there or not. So,
yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next question because we got 41 to go. I've been going through and killing some of the more meaty ones.
That was question 42. Damn.
Yeah. Do you feel it is confusing that we trade hydrogen at 1 SCU is much bigger than what the ship's tanks are?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know how much fuel our ships hold relative to the size of the fuel tanks. I don't question that because I know there's a lot of abstraction there. Like where exactly are fuel tanks relative to the size of the ship and whatnot. I realize that CIG needs to be able to massage those numbers to make certain ships of certain variants better, like the 315P, for example. You could always just like it has. Believe it or not, the 315P has more storage space, but yet more fuel than like another like the 300i. But the 300i doesn't have the same amount of storage space that the 315P does. So what do they do with the storage space that they didn't give the 300i versus the 315P? Wouldn't it just be more fuel tanks or
empty space because it's cheaper?
Can I retrofit extra fuel tanks into my 300i?
Yeah. A fuel tank, I believe, is going to be an item.
They've talked about having replaceable missile racks with fuel tanks. I remember that would throw that a long time ago, but I haven't heard them talk about it recently.
I've no clue about pricing, but that is something that's being altered in 317 because that's one of the things that Quantum is starting to control. Because
for fuel,
NPCs will be
using
buying and selling fuel now. Yeah. So we'll see where that takes us and where it balances out. So maybe it will completely shift the prices, so it'll be more realistic. But realistic for whom? I don't know.
All right. Next question comes from Steve B. Dancer, who asks, do you feel that Star Citizen should have a true G suit that allow you to take more Gs in space?
Yes.
I also
that
believe
has
it should
been
have
a discussion for years. Like for racers, just a G suit that has no other benefits other than having you, letting you endure more Gs, but not be EVA certified or not have thrusters or be able to attach armor pieces to. Yeah, sure.
It's got to be.
I
some
would love to
drawbacks,
have.
but yes.
I would love to have not just G suits, but also chairs that can also act as G suits as well, because you can change out the chairs in the 300 series. Why can't you have a chair that like is designed to like squeeze your legs or something to push blood back into your head?
But have every benefit should come with a downside as well. Like maybe the chair that lets you endure higher Gs, makes your butt go numb quicker.
Yeah. Or probably stamina or some other issues like health, like hurt your health more than a suit does. Like where you take some health damage for doing it, but you don't black out. So.
Yes, Q-Pan, a pilot chair with an integrated toilet.
Bring it back to the topic at hand. All right, next question comes from Sandy Claus, who asks, should/will food prices at vendors be dynamic based on food cargo hauling loops and overstock understock alerts?
I'm sure CIG will do that.
100%. Yes.
Food vending price. You're going to have.
That's going to be Quantum.
Yeah.
You're going to have famine conditions in nearby systems that are supplying like to factories that produce food, and you're going to see like food prices start going up, and it's going to be a mission for cargo haulers to supply raw materials to those famine-induced systems. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a thing.
Possibly even an event that gets spawned because of a famine state. Whereas like a humanitarian aid convoys need to go out to that area, and so now you get an event where you have to go escort like a Crusader Industries fleet to go relieve humanitarian aid were being attacked. That's an event right there. So yeah, definitely. Vader asks, I am Vader, the only daddy asks, how is 317? Broken.
It's not worth your time. Don't install it. Don't download it. Just wait for it to go live or wait for it to go open.
CIG,
just a couple of more patches.
Yeah, CIG even said that like it's not ready. That they wanted to release it.
It worked a lot better before this patch where they introduced the Hull A. Yeah. So if you want to check out the Hull A, go into Arena Commander. It works fine there. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not able to spawn ships right now.
Go into a solo free flight in Arena Commander and check out the Hull. That's what I did. I tried to load it to the persistent universe, and it was like infinite loading screens, instantaneous crashes, 30Ks, crashing the desktop. It's elevators don't spawn in, ships don't spawn in on the landing pads, and it's just like it's not worth your time.
No.
Unless you want to do a bunch of extra credit work for CIG for free, you want to do bug reports, I'm sure they'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to do it because you can't even spawn ships, so you can't even test the ships. All right, next question comes from Vado Squill 8991. Will the value of the 300 vehicle worth be more when Pyro is released, since the 300 has the intake air fuel system?
That's not for quantum, though. That's just for hydrogen, I think.
Yeah, just hydrogen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hydrogen is hydrogen. Quantum will matter, but hydrogen will matter as well, just because you don't have a lot of refueling stations. It probably will. I personally think that the 300 is going to be a secret, like a sneaky long-term escort. So, like, people who want to do, like, fighter pilot stuff, they're going to have to start picking ships that are good at fuel consumption, just because, you know, every system is bigger.
Either you're going to have to roll in with, like, a carrier group to attack somebody, or you're going to have to take ships with good endurance, which means 100i, which has the air system, especially if you're going to be attacking stuff that's like prospectors that are flying around on the surface of planets and whatnot. You're looking for a prospector, good luck catching them, right? It's in the middle of nowhere.
They're going to expand that system to all Origin ships.
They may.
Robert Yos asks, has anyone tried to extend the whole AWOL on the ground? I have.
Yes.
It does. It works. It works. Slides out.
You remember that scene from Men in Black where Will Smith drug that table across the room?
Yeah.
During the exam? That's basically what happens.
Yeah.
Now somebody has to record that and splice in the sound from that.
The sound from that? Yeah. Yeah.
From various angles, just overly extended for like 30 seconds. Because
Ionic Gecko asks, what are your legit thoughts on Hygiene gameplay and how it might work? I think we already gave that a little bit.
Full podcast.
Yeah, full podcast. Watch
it. It was full of shit posting, but I think in terms of what our actual feelings on the subject are, I think, we were quite honest.
It was semi-serious. It wasn't totally bullshit, but it was. We made sure to wipe a little bit, make sure to keep. All right. No, that's not a question, Galactic Command. What can Brown do for you? No. No,
Brown
bad.
can fuck off.
Brown can fuck off.
Atlas Brown?
Yes. Do you see? Yes, that is the one that we need to have. We need to have if we're going to have poop mechanics, CIG, we need to have a septic tank ship, and it's got to be the Cutlass Brown. All right.
Oh my god. Well, they already have a refinery ship, so I mean, maybe you could have like the Starfarer, except instead of the pumps pumping out, they could suck. Yeah. MISC ships are already pretty bad. I mean, none of them have a best in show skin.
Is that true? None of them have best in show skin?
No MISC. All MISC ships get knocked out whenever they have a vote for best in show. MISC ships get knocked out in the first round.
I can't imagine the Freelancer didn't make it until like the first top 4.
It got knocked out like immediately as soon as every time a Freelancer shows up, it's like the first round gone.
That means that we need to get the Reliance.
Odyssey is going to be.
Yeah. When it comes out.
That's why I was so upset about the Argo. I was so upset about the Argo because there's plenty of other ships that could have been like voted up to get their skins. But I'm glad that the 600i finally got a hookup for like skins and whatnot.
Listen,
because of the best in show.
As a diehard Argo cargo stan, I am glad that I have one skin for that thing, because there's gonna be nothing else for that damn thing ever. So, and it's really fun ship to fly. Honestly, it would be one of those ships that I'd say that people should learn to fly on, because it's so forgiving as a ship. And it's got a massive hydrogen tank on that thing, so you can just go forever.
Well, because it's meant to go from orbit to station without quantum, right?
Yeah.
Or orbit to surface without quantum, yeah.
It's a fleet tender, so it's designed to go from capital ship to station, or capital ship to planet side, and then back up.
So. Phantom asks, have any of you explored Maria Pure of Heart yet? Excuse me one moment. Let me
fell through the floor as well.
Let me give the right one. Maria Pure of Heart would like you to remember this healing affirmation. Please repeat it daily to make sure that you are happy. I will be grateful for the care given to me. I will focus on my positive energy rather than on pain. I will put faith in those responsible for me. I will actively dedicate myself to feeling better today. I will repay this gift of life with hard work and renewed commitment. Plus, I swear to Christ, this is the most bonkers.
You know what you need to do, Paul? I told you in chat when you were streaming, but you need to record that and send it out to people so they record over you with the same cadence, and then we splice it together like a Borg chant.
Like a Borg chant. There's quite literally a statue of Archibald Hurston, the founder of Hurston Dynamics, who the quote is just, "The workers must be taught excellence by their betters."
Yep.
Oh, so good.
The Maria Pure of Heart Maria Pure of Heart Hospital was made only so workers could get back to work faster.
Yep. And it's
so on point for Hurston lore.
It's the first time I've looked at something that was added to the game and it was like, this is lore in game. Like, this is the way I expect it.
Beautiful, CIG. I hate Hurston Dynamics. Yeah. Thank you, CIG. This is wonderful.
This is so wonderful. I want to overthrow the Hurstons even more now. Thank you, CIG. I would say, it's. I was not expecting anything but just another hospital, and it has more personality than almost any other place outside of like Grimhex. You know,
that corridor with the huge posters on either side, you're being watched down at by your betters. It's like, even though that is the executive suite, they still, even, you're going in there as a VIP, they still need you to know you're nothing.
Nothing compared to the Hurstons. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, it's so perfect. Like, you really fucking hate the Hurstons after going to Maria. I'm just seeing all of Lorville and you start listening to all of the audio stuff as well. There's one point where you go through checkpoints at Lorville. I shit you not. They say, "We care about our environment. Please make sure you check all of your foreign flora and fauna that you're bringing in." And it's like, what? How dare you even record that? like
you're testing antimatter warheads on your moons and your own planet.
The planet is the garbage biome.
Yeah.
We care about the environment.
Like, that's why it's so good. Like, it ties the whole like Lorville into just this horrible dystopian nightmare, and it's great. All right. Next question comes from Death Trooper 117th. Do you see CIG pushing out any significant combat, capital, or cruiser ships this year? No.
Yes. Citizen Con. Always a large ship.
Well, I mean, I think.
If you're talking about the Banu Merchantman, we already know that's coming.
I think the question is more: are you going to get it in game though?
I mean, the Hull C, maybe. The Banu Merchantman, maybe at the end of the year.
I wouldn't call a Hull C a combat ship,
concept sales, of course, we're getting another capital concept sale. Citizen Con rolls around. It's almost guaranteed.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to see any combat ships, capital combat ships, like in game. I don't think we're going to see major capital ships in game until probably next year at the earliest, but definitely around Squadron 42's finish release time. We'll start seeing it in game, but before that, no. So, next question comes from Ionic Gecko, who asks, with engineering gameplay, will we be required to fix our toilets? That's a good question. Yes.
Oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. I was cringing when they said they're going to have to make capacitors like a physicalized components. And I'm like, CIG, you have enough on your plate. Just stop inventing more fucking work for yourselves. And now
it works.
We're going to have like some sort of waste recycling system. Like, I remember it was a meme within Deep Space Nine where Rom was working on the waste extraction system, and his brother Quark was making fun of him, and Rom was like trying to defend his work, like, yo, every station needs a good waste extraction system, brother. Thanks for giving me flashbacks of a really good show. I appreciate it.
Well, I mean, there's going to be the pipe network, in the ships. One of those pipes.
Yeah, the relay, the RIC system, the resource item controller.
Yeah, one of them's going to be waste management, an actual pipe. Next question comes from Gin and Tonic, who asks, should you get a crime stat for emptying your black water tank in the upper atmosphere over a city, thereby hitting it with ICBM?
Yes.
ICBM.
ICBM. ICBM.
Yes.
I love it.
ICBM.
Icy, as in iced up. I like it. Gin and Tonic, you're almost my favorite person today.
There we go. Perfect.
For that one. That's a good one.
For those who don't get it, BM stands for or
bowel movements.
Bowel movements.
Biomatter, bowel movement. It
Yeah.
has many. Yes. Intercontinental icy.
Yeah. Sam Groper.
Should it? I mean, should we answer the question, or are we just?
I think it would be
basking in the gloriousness of that pun.
I think it would be an honestly funny fucking consequence. Like the Star Citizen needs to have some humor to itself, and it does. One of my favorite characters in the verse is a guy who was a brilliant scientist who like graduated high school at 12 years old, and he got at 21, he had a triple doctorate. Dude was a brilliant scientist who was obsessed with getting FTL travel to work. And he locked himself in a room for 10 years and came out and was like, I have it. I figured it out. And he got like money from the Banu and from the Xi'an and from the UEE to build the first FTL ship. And he decided he was going to test it himself. And he made this big speech. He's like, I jumped forward into the future. And he activated the engine, and the explosion was so big, it killed like a bunch of people on the station that he was testing it from. Like, that's fucking hilarious, CIG. More of that, please. It's dark as shit, but it's hilarious. So
like, I like the idea of some sort of like hilarious way. Like, you know what the other term for BM is, right? Besides bowel movement, which is bad mouthing. So to tell people to like flame people after the a game of League of Legends or something, to flame the enemy team, you say that's BM, right? Bad mouth. You're bad mouthing at the end of the game. But I like the idea of flying over someone's 890 jump that you don't like and just emptying the waste, popping your septic tank open, and just splat right over their windshield.
But is that going to get caught on the shield?
Here's some BM for BM. Like, I think you should get like a fine or something. Like, they should take you to small claims court.
Fine, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I think you should get a fine. But I think there should be some sort of humorous, like, you getting contact. Like, if you got fined or you got like
exchange
pulled
insurance
over,
information, it adds an extra 500 UEC to your claim timer if you lose the ship.
All of a sudden you see your reputation with some of the sleazier organizations go up 2 ticks.
Yeah, or something like that. Like you get pulled over for crimes, and they like find that on your record. You have like the NPC goes, what? Or something like that. Like some sort of humorous inside thing. That's like a Easter egg almost. Making something like that as an Easter egg would think would be fun. No, Sam Groper, I'm not going to answer your question about which way you should wipe. That's no. That's a little too far. All right,
it's always front to back.
Yeah, but do you stand up or do you do it sitting down?
God damn it! This is why I didn't want that.
You see, Paul, there's what you want, and there's what's going to happen on this podcast.
Especially this podcast.
As a democracy, this podcast is turned against you.
All right.
And at that moment, Paul, he fucked up.
We've got 26 more questions left. I have to buy a round of beers. So because HCVertigo bought a round of beers for everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Duke Lukum asks, instead of toilet paper, which may not be very sci-fi, do you think we'll get a new type of cleaning attachment for our multi-tool?
Yeah, the 3 seashells. Remember Demolition Man?
Yes.
It had the 3 seashells. They never explained how to use those.
I'm cool with cleanliness beams. Beam Citizen is my favorite meme. So yes. So
it takes like the same shells like the Castec arms Ravager takes.
Yes.
No, so you take 2 shells, you grab him like a castanet, and you
pull.
You pull, and then you take the 3rd one and you scrape.
You scrape. There you go.
Beam bidet.
Beam bidet.
It's just a nice light decontamination beam.
Drill. I cleaned myself with a. What was the Simpsons? Like Bart Simpson became like morbidly obese. He's like, I cleaned myself with a rag on a stick.
Stick, yeah.
No, but like Origin ships, do they have bidets?
I think they do. I think if you go to the 890 jump or the 600 eyes toilet bathrooms, that they do have like the bidet kind of set up. Because I think they have the buttons there for something.
Yeah. All right. Next question comes from Death Trooper 117th or 177th, who asks, when it comes to realism with medical and health and even hygiene, where do you see CIG drawing the line for realism? without making the game
actually
chore
displaying
and
poop and piss.
I honestly, I think the line that CIG will draw is, does this add enough gameplay to the game to justify the amount of memory it's going to use? Because CIG is always coming up against the energy, like memory limits. Like that's their big issue is memory limits. So they'll come to a point where like, does this actually add significant experience to the game?
So what you're saying is we could potentially cause a fatal memory overflow if we have everybody on the server poop at
the same time. Yes.
Poop at the same time.
Listen, this is the same game where you could kill everyone in a server by stepping on one step in fucking Grimhex at one point, okay?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I remember like the nuclear arrowhead I picked up once, like back when like 3.0, they actually added the ability to drop weapons. I picked up some dude's arrowhead, and every time I tried to mess with that thing in Mobiglass, the server died.
Exactly. Well, that's the point. It's like I think CIG will reach that point where it's just, does this make sense to add? Does it add anything to the game?
I hope they do. Yeah.
In this, and will it cause us to like? Will this cause us not to be able to have another thing added into the game that will be better for gameplay? You know, so
they're gonna remove Area 18 just so we can poop.
Yeah. All right. Sandy Claus asks, will I be able to flush inside an armistice zone? Only if you want to get that fine, that BM fine, that ICBM fine.
Of course, you'll be able to flush inside an armistice zone. Like, be able to evacuate your septic tank, though, that's a different story.
Yeah.
He also asks, are flush toilet backup flares and chaff? Yes.
Oh man.
Isn't chaff is basically it's empty shells of wheat. Yeah. No, so it has nothing to do with poop. Damn it! I was so close to rightness.
Next question comes from Galactic Command, who asks, will you allow my boreal lawn care to fertilize your land claims for bountiful harvest? Yes.
Yeah, I'm basically waiting for people to fight the boreal stalker, get turned into boreal stalker fertilizer, so I can fertilize my garden with Galactic Command brand fertilizer.
Galactic Command also asks, how many Drake Buccaneers will it take to make one full SCU? 42. That's the answer.
All right, 42 is the answer to everything.
That's a tiny bucket.
Yeah.
Sure.
Phantom 569 asks, have you heard anything regarding Invictus this year? I've heard a lot of rumors, like leaks have talked about some stuff because they've been able to pull some stuff. The leaked rumors are that the tour for the Javelin is back, and there's going to be a mission, like a hostage mission of some kind. That's going to be an event that you're going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
So that's about it. And that's the same. Those are the same leaks that included like the name, the Drake Mule, and other things like that too. So.
I'm actually very excited for the trailer for Invictus because every year, like,
they do great.
2 years because they're very good. Yeah.
Stengun asks, in helmet vomiting, yay or nay?
Sure. I would love to see it. Just people vomit from G-forces and just watch the helmet fill up, and then suddenly they start suffocating because they can't breathe.
Or even sickness because of like illnesses for medical stuff. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But something we didn't touch upon during the show: illnesses and sicknesses, maybe from bad hygiene or from handling fecal matter. Is that something that would be beneficial to the gameplay?
Yeah,
like
don't go touching strange things when you're exploring without the proper equipment, or don't be around places because it adds also things like. Just like famine, like the concept of a famine event, you have something like an outbreak event where you have to go in and get medical supplies, you know?
Yeah, but is it going to be a player created Outbreak because someone.
Oh
didn't
yeah,
wash
that was
their
like a
hands.
huge thing in like World of
World of
Warcraft. There was
Warcraft.
like a boss fight.
Yeah.
Where people found out there was a debuff you can get that would damage like everybody near you when you died, and it would spread to other players. So people,
Someone
I can't
managed to
remember.
escape.
I can't remember the name of the debuff, but it would kill. It would do a shit ton of damage, and when you died, it would spread to other people near you. And you'd have people who would summon like pets, and the pet would get it. And as soon as they realized their pet had the debuff, they would immediately town portal back to like a tavern or something that was super populated with people, just to have their pet blow up in there, and just everybody dies.
Hakar Blood Plague is what it's called.
Yeah, Blood Plague. Yeah, that sounds about right.
It was legitimately studied by the CDC as an example of propagation of viruses, as how things could spread.
And if CIG adds diseases, people will intentionally spread it. And I mean, the entire community will intentionally spread it.
All right.
Yeah.
So if a disease spreads out in a localized area, it's an epidemic. If it's across the world, it's a pandemic. What's across multiple planets or systems? What would that be called?
Galactemic?
Galactidemic or omnidemic, probably omnidemic or something like that.
Yeah.
Because pan is like
Several.
across.
Yeah.
Omni would be like all, like omnidemic.
Okay. Yeah. Could be. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think something like that would happen at least with NPCs, at least, and if not with players. And I wouldn't expect you to be able to like die from diseases, maybe, but you definitely would. It's definitely kind of like a debuff situation where like, yeah, you gotta rest now. You gotta go like not go out, and you have to make sure you have your hydration and food in, because that also with gameplay it gives medics something to do, because like medics need to have more than just this dumbass decided to do a triple backflip off of the rock and break his leg. Like they need to have some other aspect. So
yeah, well, sure. Why not have like a deadly plague? Because you have, systems to prevent you from getting that disease in every armor shop.
Yeah,
called the Anderson and helmet. That completely creates an isolated system. So
yeah,
because it is that easy to not catch a deadly disease. I'm sure that would make it give a reason for deadly diseases to actually exist in the game.
Yeah. So
I hope they don't add like actual deadly diseases. I'd rather have debuffs than have a disease, because people are gonna, if a disease is deadly, people are gonna bring it back to like the noob areas and they're gonna try to spread it.
Well, how fast it spreads and how efficient it is at spreading is something else than just being deadly to someone who catches it.
Because I do think that like an event of like, I mean, it's one of the most common tropes of like Star Trek. They're almost always going to a planet that has some sort of viral outbreak, or they're coming back from a planet that had a viral outbreak. And like the first 5 seasons of TNG that was always what was happening.
That was the cold open, yeah.
Yeah.
And the B plot.
Yeah. All right. Next question comes from Galactic Command, who asks, will the next wipe CIG gives us be single or triple ply?
Lavender scented.
Lavender scented. Quilted. Triple ply and quilted.
Crystal King asks, why is there a portrait of a certain political leader at Maria Pure of Heart?
Oh yeah, the portrait looks like Putin. I guess they put him in the game.
I don't know if I'm sure it's somebody in the Hurston family.
Looks eerily similar in a certain light, and I'm just like, I walked past it. I'm like, is that Putin?
I don't know. I don't think so. But
probably not. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. I mean, I know the one with the wall, the white one, the one that's where it's like its face. I think that's supposed to be Maria.
Oh, that next to the door.
Yeah.
At Metro Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's supposed to be Maria. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the relief, not the actual portrait.
Yeah.
Like painted portrait.
Yeah, because the painted portraits are also in Constantine Hurston's office. Those are the same portraits that are in Constantine Hurston's office.
Yes.
So.
No, there's different ones. The ones in Constantine Hurston's office are the ones that were the moons were named after.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, these are new people.
I'm not the only person who reacted to that. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely supposed to be Maria. Those kind of relief ones. Steve B. Dancer asks, when you land at a stop, do you think they'll have you'll have to empty the refuse tank, or will it just eject it? I mean, waste is a sellable option. There are places in Star Citizen that literally buy waste.
I'm thinking it'll be like an option to like probably part of maintenance.
Yeah,
of your ship.
Just bundled with, just do the whole ship, and they refuel it, restock it, and empty out everything.
Yeah,
fill what needs to be filled, empty what needs to be emptied. I don't want to know the details.
Well, I mean, trash is going to be a thing in game, like having to deal with trash of various because of persistence. So like if you have a water bottle, you drink that water, you're gonna have to put that somewhere.
Yeah, and the character automatically drops it. Like I picked that up and put it in the garbage.
Yeah.
CIG, come on.
Galactic Command asks, when operating the Drake Buccaneer, will you use all 3 shells? Yes. All 3.
Yes. All 3. Real civilized people use all 3 shells. Barbarians only use 1.
OG Lockpin.
Barbarians go up to the find dispenser and shut up a storm.
Okay. OG Lockpin asks, will CIG be the first MMO with feminine hygiene in game? I don't think they want to model that.
Ooh, there we go. Are we gonna acknowledge the facts of life, CIG?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say about pooping and peeing, but there are.
We're gonna have like if HCVertigo has his way. If you piss yourself without emptying your flight suit, your helmet's going to fill up with piss. If you vomit inside your helmet, it's going to fill up with vomit. And
if you menstruate,
if your flow is a little too heavy,
it's going to fill up your helmet.
I don't think that happened.
I'm sure the RSI branded underwear that we have is extra absorbent
space diapers.
All right, next question. I am Vader.
But that is actually not that stupid of a question. Just because
if they're going
full hygiene, yeah. And okay, Death Trooper 177 says, God, that time a month every 30 days. No, it's gonna be once every 10 real-time days. By the way, because time is like 4 times faster in Star Citizen.
Yep.
But on the other hand, would you be okay with medicine in the 30th century somehow doing away with it being a bloody event?
I mean, we have medicine. We have medicine in the 21st century that stops it entirely. So,
yeah, but that doesn't. Well, I will have to admit that I am not completely up to speed on those. But if it stops it entirely, is it a permanent thing, or like does it also remove the ability to conceive, or is it something that you can turn off?
I think it's in the 21st century. It's a subdermal. Not a patch. But
you get like a little implant in your arm.
So it does that controls the hormones, and then when you turn it off, the normal cycle reestablishes itself.
I don't know how long it lasts. It may last for a year. It may last for maybe less or maybe more. But it basically just turns off the cycle.
Yeah.
Do we actually know? No. Do we actually know how children are made in Star Citizen? Is it something that is genetically grown in a vat?
No, Chris Roberts is planning to go the natural route. You're going to have to, in some orgs, you're going to have an equal ratio of male to female players so you can guarantee to have respawns when your character permanently dies.
Oh, God, no.
No, sure. Sure, but that could still be combining genetic materials from a male and from a female to create a new person, or it could be even male.
Or it could be some pleb organization that has a cloning vat in your Starfarer. You can't even attract any females.
That's what I'm talking about. If you're creating humans from existing genetic material in a lab, in a grow vat, is that how new humans are made in Star Citizen, or is it still naturally through biological pregnancy? Do we know that?
We do. There's actually lore on this, in that it's at least.
Oh God, yes.
It seems like there is still natural pregnancy. They've actually outlawed cloning entirely because of concerns about the ethics of cloning. So I'm assuming that there's probably some science that comes up to the edge of that, but not quite.
And here we have regeneration in Star Citizen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not cloning.
Exactly.
It's regeneration.
Regeneration.
It's not cloning, no.
Does this mean we'll have orgies? Yes. Welcome to one of the inside running jokes in my channel.
Gin and tonic, by the way, says Depot, which is I think the implant stops at the periods for 3 months.
There you go.
So it's a 3-month cycle.
Oh, okay.
So, all right, let's move on to the next question. But that's a good example of like just how bonkers you can go with hygiene that I don't think should go that far. Period. Because
no, but it is
far. Period.
But it is representation.
I get that joke.
mean, the only thing they have otherwise is differently cut clothing, which is also something that shouldn't be limited to those. To that gender. Like, if a man wants to wear a skirt and high heels, he should be able to.
It's the 39th century. Who gives a shit? Or the 30th century. Who gives a shit? Yeah.
30th. Yeah, exactly.
Just more clothing options in general. Kilts, skirts, pants.
When Fallout 4 is beating you in this, when Bethesda's beating you in this, you have some fucking problems. So,
coffee gaming, all dildos and latex vaginas are modeled on Banu.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I am Vader, the only daddy asks, do tattoos get carried over to the new regenerated body, or do we have to get tatted again? Anything that's done to the body is basically saved in the imprint. So if you have a tattoo, it will move over. But if you
have to do the imprint after you get a tattoo.
If you got a tattoo and then you didn't get an imprint, if you got an imprint and then you got a tattoo, it wouldn't be back on your character or shouldn't be back on your body after you got respawned.
Yeah.
So
everything on your body when you get the imprint will be on the new body. Yeah.
You can think of it as kind of like a save point in game, like an IRL save point.
Or a snapshot.
All right, moving on. Crystal King asks, should we be able to pick up or throw our byproducts? I mean, that's you could do it in Rust or Arc. You could do it in Arc.
Oh my god. Oh god. Sure, why not? If we're gonna go that far, it's gonna be interactable. Why not? Let's just be monkeys.
CIG,
flinging to each other.
If CIG is going that deep, they're gonna have to go that deep, baby. Like if they're even gonna mention it, I'm gonna say I demand full sim for this. Only because it'll make people not want this, and you can stop wasting time and resources on it.
Sure, but then also I want a catapult or a trebuchet to attach to my ship so I can fill it with poop and throw it at other ships.
Throw it at people, yes.
You can't put it in a cannon because it'll just splatter. It needs to be a slow acceleration.
Future problems require medieval solutions. Gin and Tonic asks, should all toilets in Star Citizen be composting toilets? Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I mean, you could probably have some sort of bioengineered bacteria you can add to it, which will convert it into, like, I don't know, dirt or something.
Yeah. We only have 9 questions left.
What is waste then? What is biological waste?
What is a release? What is a bowel movement?
What is release?
I'm talking about the actual item in Star Citizen that you can trade and have to get rid of emissions. What is that waste?
I'm just assuming it's like either like toxic waste from like industrial processes,
industrial products or something like that.
Yeah. Byproducts. It's just hazardous stuff that needs to be disposed of.
It does say
those 3
waste
boxes.
on it, so.
Those 3 boxes that you have to get rid of that slosh around.
That's a human body.
I think that is just a human body.
All waste boxes make that sound.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
At least now they do.
Yeah, the disgusting sloshing. Yes. I'm not asking that question. That's dumb. No, I'm not asking those questions. All right. Steve B. Dancer asks, do you think it will go to the point where you have to clean your undersuit? Yes.
Yes. Wear and tear is coming to your undersuit.
Yeah.
You'll eventually have to replace your undersuit as well. So cleaning undersuit maintenance is probably going to be a thing, but it's probably not going to be that big of a deal. You probably just like flop it into like a device in your ship and it comes out like boop, clean.
Or a beam, like an attachment for your like a.
It would be cool if those lockers would automatically over time slowly build up your.
You may have like
durability.
Like the suit storage in your ship, maybe have like limited laundering capabilities, limited repair and laundering capabilities.
But just do it automatically. You put it in, you come back 5 minutes later, it's done.
Yeah.
Also for guns, like the gun lockers, you put it on, it goes in, closes the door, you open back up, fresh gun.
Yep.
Why not?
Stringy, welcome to the cringe session. I hope you enjoy it. I am cringe, but I am free. That is how this works. Deal with it.
Not everything's free is great, Paul.
Yeah.
Also, you have subscriptions on Twitch. You're not free.
No. All right.
It's strictly, not stringy. Yes, strictly.
Next question comes from Shimpasta, who asks, "What if I accidentally left skid marks on my armor? Will I have to wash my clothes now?" Yes.
Yeah. If you walk into like a civilized area, they'll probably notice it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
My name just got butchered. Yes. Welcome, Stringy.
You're stringy now.
You're stringy. Accept the cringe. Galactic Command asks, should pooping on the floor add ship wear and tear? No, I'm moving that on. That's just dumb.
It should add stink. It should add stink.
No. Well, depends on whether it would coat it and protect it, or would it accelerate rusting? Anyway.
Moving on. We only have 4 questions left. We've been talking about this for over an hour. So, so Fizzlefuse asks, what about getting drunk and having to puke? Should that be a thing? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Like, hands down, getting too drunk and puking should be a thing. Even if there's nothing.
And if you do it in the bar, you get banned.
Yeah, like there should be consequences for that. But that's not only something that's
just take a reputation hit for puking in the bar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, that's something that should happen because there should be a consequence for getting that drunk. And on top of that, it's funny because people will do it, so they just vomit all over themselves and see if they can do it and fly with the vomit in their helmet as they are.
Should you be able to build up tolerance to alcohol, like a completely lightweight? But that goes into against the whole of. No, that goes against the whole skill thing and leveling up of a character, like because it's meant to be.
I mean, because like. It makes sense to be able to like build up tolerance over time because it's not really a skill to be able to drink more. It's more. It's a skill.
Been around here.
It's a skill, but it's not a skill that's going to give you a significant advantage in some sort of gameplay, unless there's some sort of dedicated drunk flying like mechanic.
No, but just pulling it out of my ass. Just unless you have a mission that you have to get on the good side of some really obnoxious figure, and the only way to do that would be to outdrink them. So
that is an actual mission in the game that I've heard the audio for. So there is legitimately drunk flying in Star Citizen at some point, or at least they planned at some point to have drunk flying as a mission. So there's an entire mission in Wing Commander 3, Wing Commander 4. Where you have to fly drunk.
Wing Commander 4, I think.
Yeah,
it was a drunk mission. 3 or 4, but you had a mission where you come back and like you go to the bar and then suddenly you have to scramble to go defend your capital ship
after you've been drinking in the bar.
Yeah. Well, you have a choice. You have a choice. You can either you could choose to have like your character goes to the bar and has a single drink, and then you can choose to have another drink, or you can choose to like cut yourself off if you want to. Like, no, I don't want to drink anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If you choose to have another drink, it inverts. Oh god, it is an awful mission if you're drunk. I couldn't beat it.
All right, Windlord00 asks, would you like to see fecal remains as a form of tracking animals' bounties for those moments when you're taking a dump in the wild is needed?
Boral's stalker droppings.
We already have.
You find a Moby glass.
Hey, we already have this. It's called Rantadung.
It's Rantadung. Yeah, we do technically. Yeah. What I want, Paul, is I want to dig through. You remember that scene from Jurassic Park where they dig through the giant thing of poop? I want to do that, except I want to pull out an upgrade for my armor. And it was just like someone's skull falls out of the helmet. I'm like, this helmet's actually better than the one I'm wearing right now. And then you have this really tough choice. Do you want to put this helmet on?
The poo helmet?
Or do you want to go clean it? Do you want to clean it off?
That's always one of those questions where you find like a skeleton.
Like, it obviously didn't help the last person, so should I bother putting it on?
Do I want to put on a dead man's armor?
No, but if you see that it's better than yours, then you have to start thinking about your choices. Like, what kind of shitty armor have I been walking around the verse with? If this better thing didn't help with the Boreal Stalker.
Well, I mean, here's the thing about the tracking. It's not a crazy idea to have something like being able to track people based off of like garbage they've left behind. So like if you know someone's in this region, you can pull a scanner up and look for various things, and you can maybe find like
that is
away, like food wrappers and stuff like that, and know that they've been in the area.
That is how they tracked the first Arctic expedition. Because of the mercury droppings, because everybody was constipated, so they were taking mercury tablets to help with constipation.
I think that was Lewis and Clark. It's Lewis and Clark that they used to take.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah,
they can trace them in the levels of mercury in the soil. Yeah. So, last two questions. What are your thoughts on hygiene affecting most starting ships, except 300, all the way past the Cutlass Black? Yeah, because you can't. There's no hygiene on any. None of those ships have any kind of hygienes. Even.
Yeah. It's gonna make certain ships like the 300 series attractive to a certain play style.
Yeah.
Because you have like I've talked about this. Like, what's the difference between the 300i and the Avenger Titan?
Shower.
And like, there's the 300 series has a lot more accoutrements for the pilot. Yeah. And when CIG starts hooking that stuff up, people are going to start looking at the 300 series with like, oh, I get hygiene stuff, I get storage, maybe self-cleaning gun racks and whatnot, all this stuff. So if I'm going to stay around civilized space, but I'm going to go on long duration missions, like I come back and I don't have to worry about that reputation yet from the hygiene stuff, as opposed to the Avenger Titan, where now you have to stop by a space station, you have to check into a motel for a few hours, you have to get cleaned up, and then you can go like talk to Miles Eckhart or Constantine Hurston. That kind of stuff.
And people are pointing out like the Mustang Beta has the same thing too.
Yeah, the Mustang Beta has the same thing.
So, yeah, I mean, it just means that you can't go as far with those, and there probably has to be some sort of like, as chat's been pointing out, like some truck stop, or temporary halves where you can rent, where you can go rest up and clean up.
Well, the stations have the habs, and the habs outside the reception area have the toilets.
Yeah.
They have the doors. They don't have the toilets.
Yeah. Last question. The last question. We've gone through all of it. Galactic Command asks, will there be constipation facial animations like there is in
There already is.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. I mean, you can do it with VoIP if you want.
No, but
every time I smile in front of my webcam with VoIP turned on, it looks like my character's trying to push one out.
But if you turn VoIP off, all you're doing is like doing that.
Also, yeah, if you actually get injured slightly, your character does make those facial animations because your character there were a couple of
patches where that would happen all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A resting fecal face.
All right, that's the last shitty question. Thank you for this shitty question and answer session. Yeah. This was fun, and for anyone who don't get it, I kind of decided to do this because Darj, HCVertigo, and I had that one very long laugh about the idea of the sheer idiocy and lunacy that it would be to add pooping in Star Citizen, and
take it to the full extreme.
April 1st was yesterday. This is the equivalent of the April 1st stream. But it's on April 2nd, so it's even better. So hopefully you enjoyed it, had a little fun with some of these crazy questions. We'll be back to more serious topics next week, obviously. I believe next week I'm going to have Ray from Ray's Guide and Space Coder are coming on. So we'll talk a little bit more about the technical details. So Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you are following and subscribe to HCVertigo on both YouTube and Twitch. Make sure you go to his YouTube. He's got some really good videos on there and some reviews and other topics about Star Citizen. Make sure that you go to jrdesignandfabrication.uk, right?
jrfabrication.co.uk.
jrfabrication, yeah, at .co.uk.
Or for my personal stuff, it's just Darjanator.com. Also, my YouTube is very much not Star Citizen related.
There you go. It has a lot of car stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What we need to do is get Darj and John Crew to work together. Yeah. So on his Project Twingo.
Yeah, on the Project Twingo, there's so much that he's just ignoring on that car, on that fucking shitbox.
Yeah.
Well, it's a shitbox. That's the point. It's a shitbox.
It's a shitbox. Yes.
Yeah, that's why he's trying to fix it. Anywho, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to watch this live and ask your own questions, your own shitty questions, you can join us at Saturdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. UTC. I'd love to have you come on and ask those questions live. Ask your own questions in chat. Thank you so much for watching. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.